Hi, and welcome to the Crit Hit Wild podcast, where we cover all things Marvel Crisis Protocol, and we do a new character every week. This week, we're going to be talking about Viper, and I'm your host, Fred.
I'm Brad.
And I'm Steven.
Hey, guys. So we are without Brandon today. Brandon has to work, so we are letting him do his responsibility stuff instead of being on this podcast. Anyway, how are the two of you doing? How are you doing, Brad?
I'm doing okay considering.
Yeah, same. How are you doing, Steven?
I'm doing well. Thank you, Fred. How are
I'm
you?
glad. I am exhausted. uh, Brad and I both had a very long day yesterday. We both attended the Akron Brawl, and we will go over that more in depth later on. But it was a ton of fun, and I enjoyed it. And then we came home, and we both played Vampire late into the evening. So we had a long day, a day that was more than what 18 hours.
Fred, I was awake for 23.
Yeah, that's nuts.
I
I'm
it
sorry.
was
I'm not.
I considered, but I was so tired. I could just, stay
You could just
awake for
leave.
the next hour. No. And make it an even 24, but
Just
I
to
was
say you did
tired.
it.
You just to say I did it? Yeah.
We're too old. You and I are both too old for this.
I don't
We
feel
need
Yeah.
as
we need our sleep.
I don't feel as bad as I thought I would. That's a plus.
I feel pretty bad.
The life of a gamer, sacrificing time in the order to fill pleasurable activities.
Hey, isn't that just life in general?
Well, I mean, you do that with a video game, you do that with a miniature game, you do that with a role playing game. It's like, oh, I got time. And then you look up, it's 5 hours later, and it's like, oh, I haven't gotten to sleep. So,
Right. That is true. Okay. Well, do you guys want to talk about games we played recently? Oh, no. Before I do that, let's go over the upcoming events. Uh, all right. In September, we are in September right now. September 21st, there's going to be a tournament at Lost Legion Games and Comics, in South Charleston. That is run by Brad, and it's just going to be one of our local tournaments. It's going to be a small thing, and I will not be attending because I'm going to the Mothman Festival, unfortunately. Uh, so that is not unfortunately. I love going to the Mothman Festival. It is. I am a West Virginian, and it is my God-given right to go to this thing, and so that is why I'm going. But
but Fred, you should have the Mothman come and play Marvel Crisis Protocol.
listen, I've played Marvel Crisis Protocol yesterday, and I'm going to do a very similar trip in 2 weeks when we go to the Fabricators Forge tournament on the 28th of September. That is in Fabricators Forge in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And that is a BECC qualifier with more than, I think it's 20 people currently signed up, and there are still a few slots open if anyone wants to join. That it was also going to be an LVO qualifier. So turn out, everyone. Let's show Bryce that we can really fill the Fabricators Forge space and get some BEC points while we're at it. And then coming up in October, on October the 19th, is Second Wind in Chicago. I'm excited to do that. That is, yeah, that's the biggest one that I'm probably going to be attending this year.
Yeah, it's
And
Fred's first time, so if you're going, take it easy on him. Ease him
yes,
into
take it
it.
easy on poor little me.
Lube him up first.
Oh, Jesus Christ. All right, well, let's move on. Let's move on to games that we've played recently. So obviously, Brad and I just went to a tournament. But before we talk about our stuff, Steven, do you have any games that you want to talk about?
Yeah, I had a game this past Thursday at a regular game night. Again, our new people, Lex and Kyle, showed up, and they brought another person with them who is named Thorn, Thorn. And I met this wonderful person, and we played a game that was kind of like uh, a friendly because he usually organizes events at the store. He is employed at another game store. But he doesn't get to play that often. So I just pulled out my spider foes, and he pulled out some random stuff I really don't know now. I'm sorry I didn't record it. And we just had some fun doing you know Marvel Crisis Protocol. That's all. So,
Okay,
um,
that's nice.
but there were some rules and contention points that we went over, and one of the first things I noticed is that he rolled a critical, and then he rolled uh, another dice in his pool. I'm like, no, you want to roll an extra dice because you have rerolls, and just little mechanics like that. So,
Yeah, yeah.
but like I said, it was a friendly, and we have fun doing it. So, but
That's. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
more new people, and that's always better.
Yeah, I agree. It's impressive that you're drawing more and more people into the MCP space.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening, but
It's good. Good,
it's a
good.
it's it's a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Brad and I attended Akron Brew Brawl, and it was a ton of fun. It went 4 rounds, so we've got 4 games to talk about. So we'll do our round one first. Hey, here's another thing about this is that Brad and I managed to dodge each other this entire event, which is nice. It's nice that I didn't play against Brad. The last big tournament we went to, I played Brad, Brandon, and Borka of the 5 rounds that I played. So it was nice to play all relatively new people. Uh, my first my first game was against Bryce, the person who's the tournament organizer for Fabricators Forge. So I played Green Goblin Spider Foes, and he played Sam Wilson Avengers. So my thought process here going into this game was I need to kill him before he wins because I'm not going to out scenario him. There's just no way that I out scenario Sam Wilson. It's not going to happen. So I this was on Struggle for the Cube and Infinity Formula, which is not looking good for me already. And it's at threat value of 17. I did not win this game. This game did not. If I had spiked a couple times in the right places, I could have won, or I could have slowed his roll enough that I could have possibly gotten pulled a win out through attrition. But it just did not happen. And this game ended with him at 16 points and me at 8. So, or I'm sorry, him at 17 points and me at 8. So, I did not do well. This was not a good start for me at this tournament. Uh, I don't think I have any relevant things that happened in this game. It was just I could not do the attrition hard enough to kill him. All right, Brad, what was your first round?
I played Gilbert, who was playing Steve 1, and I played Cyclops X-Men this tournament. And we ended up playing Gamma, which was his, and Skrulls, which was mine, at 15 points. He definitely had a plan for 15 points. And I'm just going to quickly explain how this game went. I did no damage before Cyclops died on turn 2. I picked up a scroll and I with 4 dice didn't get a crit or a wild, and he pushed me closer to his team and dazed Cyclops first turn and killed him first activation turn 2. And then I put maybe 7 damage on his guys throughout the rest of the game, while losing everybody on my side except Psylocke. So that's 3 other models just dead. X-23, I think, died before she got to even make an attack.
Oh my gosh.
Bishop got to try to make some attacks and didn't really do much. But I eventually got 5 damage on Thor, and then he patched him up. I
Just
did more
an
than
insult to
I
injury.
did more than 7 damage because I think I finally did flip Cap one, but it was my dice were so bad this game, and if they weren't, Gilbert probably still beats me because spoiler alert, he wins the whole thing. But like I could have like played a game of Marvel, and this was no game of Marvel. I like it was like I wasn't even there. And the only reason Psylocke survived is because I double moved her behind a truck so that she would survive. Because he literally could have killed her if I kept her anywhere close to his team that turn and wiped me. He shouldn't have because then he had less points, but it didn't matter because he won the whole thing. But this was 17-7, and it's a miracle I got those 7 points. It was so bad.
It's wild how cold your dice have been recently. Like it
It's
seems like your dice are completely against you.
it's been real bad. And I've always said I don't believe in dice luck, like I believe in math. I'm starting to wonder. Like
Wow. Who is besides Thor and Steve? Who else did Gilbert run?
he had um
Because that's five more points he had. So was it
yeah,
like Cable or
it was Cable. It was Cable. And that's an interesting list because he has a bodyguard. He has two ways to pump dice, one on themselves, Captain America, and then Cable. And he rarely let me attack who I wanted to attack, which was very interesting. I thought it was a pretty good list.
yeah?
I
I
have Gilbert's list in front of me right here, and it is a very good list. It looks very strong. Do you? Here, I'll go through it real quick.
okay.
Because this is the man who won the tournament. I
Yes.
think it's worth talking about his list. He has Thor, hero of Midgard, that's 6 point Thor, Cable, King T'Challa, that is 5 point Black Panther, Captain America Steve Rogers, that's the first Steve Rogers, Shang-Chi, Wolverine, Colossus, Spider Woman, Winter Soldier, that's 3 point Winter Soldier, and Black Panther Chosen of Bast. I think there's a lot of good options in that. I think
Yeah.
it's actually a very strong
And
roster.
I'm the one that picked 15 because some people do not have a good plan for 15, but he absolutely did, and I made this mistake again.
You mean later, or
Yeah,
this
later.
was
No,
okay?
later.
Okay. Well, let's move into round two then. Uh, all right, my round two, I was up against Commander Cake, and we were both playing Spider Foes. So this was a Spider Foes mirror match. We both played Doc Ock's leadership, and it was Struggle for the Cube and Deadly Meteors at threat value of 17. Okay, so we were playing Keep Away, trying to stay out of range of a big um, surprise webhead turn. So it was a constant game of like trying to stay away from each other enough so that they can't just immediately annihilate someone. Uh, this game was going well for me. My team was let me see if I can pull this out of my head. Doc Ock, Green Goblin, Lizard, Craven the Hunter, and Vulture. That was my team. His team was Doc Ock. Oh gosh, this is gonna be trickier. I'm not gonna be able to pull his team out of my head, but it was slightly different. There was some crossover, but it was slightly different. He had Lizard also. That's relevant. I was very ahead going into in round three. I had 14 points and he had 9. Uh, on round four, everything for me fell apart. He had some very important spikes. He did a ton of damage where he needed to do damage. And even then, his lizard ended up with 1 hit point remaining, and holding 2 of the cubes. And all I needed to do was take out his lizard with my lizard. There's an easy way to do that, but I was trying to get too greedy. So my thought process was I will attack him, I will do 1 damage, and I will take those 2 cubes and run away. So I used my surprise webhead just with my lizard and tried to sneak 1 damage through. I whiff. Then I attack again. I whiff. So I'm thinking, oh no, if I move up and throw him, he I'm in a terrible position, and my lizard gets killed by his entire team before the end of the round. So where I am standing right now is probably the best place to be. I attack him again. I whiff again. I cannot do 1 point of damage, and because I do not do 1 point of damage, he wins this game 16-15. I let this slide through my finger. I could have just walked up, thrown him, picked up the 2 things, and walked away and been in a much better position than I would have had I done this nonsense that I did. This was a self own on my part. Oh well. Oh well. You live and learn. Uh, that was my round two. Brad, how was your round two?
I played Robbie, who was playing Asgard, and he played. We played Deadly Meteors and Scrolls, and he picked 20 points. Uh, he played Mighty Thor, Sif, Angela, Thor Hero of Midgard. I played, because we played 20 points. I played Cyclops, Logan, Psylocke, Bishop, and Nightcrawler. Bishop was a boss this game. Did so much work. Cyclops let me down at a crucial point in the game, and it was sad. I missed every trigger for my leadership, and it's because the game with Gilbert set me up bad because I literally had no triggers to
Because
remember.
you never did damage.
It's because I didn't do damage and then Cyclops died. So I wasn't thinking about it this game like I should have been. Logan was pretty good. He flipped Angela pretty quickly. By the end of the game, I think Sif was still on the table. Mighty Thor was dazed. Angela, I think, was off. And I had pushed 6 Point Thor really far away. And I was like, awesome. I don't have to deal with him. And then he Rainbow Bridged him. And I did. I did, the very last attack of the game, Logan did kill him, I think. But it didn't matter. He dropped a point that Logan couldn't pick up. And I flipped a meteor. And I ended up winning 18-8. One of the mistakes Robbie made, and I think he listens to the podcast, so here you go, is Nightcrawler sat on 1 health with an extract for 2 full turns right next to Sif, and he didn't attack him. He was attacking other people with Sif. And when he finally did attack with Sif, he killed him. Well, he dazed him. No problem. But I think he got tunnel vision trying to deal with Bishop and just missed the chance to deny me that point. And that got me 2 extra
I am
points.
guilty of that.
Yeah. So, but it was a good game. 6 Point Thor is scary. Very scary. Sif's good. Sif's real good. I liked her when we reviewed her, but now that I've seen her on the table, people should be playing her. She's great. I think I like her better than Beta Ray Bill.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, like I really like her.
All right. Well, I actually kind of like her quite a bit too. I wanna see what she does. All right, let's move on to round three. Um, my round three opponent was Cody from the Cleveland area. And this was a we got hammers and superpowered scoundrels, and so I picked a threat value of 20, largely because spider foes like huge threat values. It tends to help me when I have a lot of options. Um, this game started off looking really rough for me. In round one, Cody is okay. Let me talk through Cody's list. Cody was playing Red Skull 3, Hood, Ebony Maw with one of the stones, I forget which one, and
Space.
Malekith. It was space. Okay.
Was he
Uh
probably
oh,
right? Because he was
I think
teleporting
that sounds
himself.
right. That sounds right. Yeah. Uh, and Malekith. This was he's playing incredibly tall. This is a tall 20-point list that he's got here. I went a lot wider. I had 6 activations to his 4. Um, I was Doc Ock, Green Goblin, I believe Rhino, Craven the Hunter, Lizard, and another one. Another 4 point, no, Bullseye
Eh,
and Bullseye. That's who it would have to be. So, round one, he dazes both Doc Ock and Craven the Hunter. Craven the Hunter with Ebony Maw, and Doc Ock with Malekith. It was pretty devastating. So I'm sitting here worried, oh no, I'm going to lose this game hard. The beginning of round two, he activates Ebony Maw. Ebony Maw kind of whiffs. He whiffs in his attacks against Lizard and fails to do any damage to Craven the Hunter and then runs away. Craven the Hunter had, during this power phase, used custom upgrades to against Ebony Maw, so my plan was to hunt him down with Craven. But before I did that, I activated Green Goblin. Green Goblin, holding a hammer, throws 2 pumpkin bombs at Malekith, lights him on fire, and does some plank damage. And then I use Surprise Webhead with both Doc Ock and Green Goblin on Malekith. And I daze him before he can activate. A huge swing. Maybe the thing that won me this game. Uh, I daze Malekith round two before he activates. Then Lizard throws Ebony Maw so that he's in range of Craven the Hunter. And then Craven the Hunter dazes Ebony Maw with a fully buffed up Kukri knife and a fully buffed up spear thrust, which if he's got the tracking token and custom upgrades on him, means that's an 8 dice attack followed by I think it's a 10 dice attack, which felt really good and took out Ebony Maw even without having to spend to attack his reduced defense. Round three, he started coming back. Malekith killed the world, but by that point, I had scored 8 victory points round two, so I was just too far ahead on scenario for him to be able to prevent me from winning round three. So I pull out the win, 16-8 in this game. So that was my round three. Brad, what was your round three?
So I played less, and we got Montesian Sword, and he was playing Professor X Men. And I looked at his roster, and I'm like, I have great options at 15, and like I felt like his were like similar, maybe a little worse, and so I picked 15. Uh, Turns out Les has a lot of reps on 15. Uh,
Yeah.
like a ton, way more than me, and just has a lot of reps with his list in general and knows most of my list as well as I do. So he plays
You were
Professor.
both playing X-Men, right? Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
he played Professor X, Rogue, Shang Chi, and Magic, and I was playing Cyclops, Nightcrawler, Psylocke, and Domino because of the scenarios. So I have lots of options for like the 3 and 4 slots. So like I can really customize to the scenario. And
Mm-hmm.
the first turn was pretty standoffish and pretty close on points. And then I think it was the second turn, like I had a pretty big turn. And then I think the game went 2 more turns with less solidly playing the game. Like Shang-Chi, like I got around his defensive tech fine. Like that wasn't a big deal. But the fact that he can just like do a builder and then pay one to push and it's sword. So like as soon as you get people off the point, it's just yours. Like I couldn't keep points away from Shang-Chi. Uh, Rogue, he he did the Rogue superpower, the mutant. It's not mutant absorption. That's her builder, but the 5 dice.
Absorbed energy or whatever it's
Yeah.
called.
Yes. Yeah. He rolled five. It's 5 dice. He did that 4 times and got 4 hits on every time he did it.
Oh God.
So like it was just doing so much work. He also put. Not, this was a cool move that it didn't end up mattering, as Les pointed out. But Nightcrawler was like literally touching his edge of the board, and I teleported, moved, flipped a sword, attacked Rogue, placed off the attack, picked up a extract, and then failed to flip another sword. So that's a lot of stuff to do in one turn, and then he just dazed or KO'd Nightcrawler right after that. But
And then he immediately died.
yeah, they immediately died. So, but it was a cool turn. It's the reason
Uh-huh.
I played Nightcrawler in that game is so I can do stuff like that. Like he
Yeah.
got so far, he got to interact with 3 different scenario things and got to make an attack. But it didn't matter. He ended up winning 18-11. Um, and that was it. He had most of the sword stations for most of the game. Like it went bad for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so we're going into round 4, and both Brad and I are 1 and 2. So that's where we're currently standing in the tournament. Round 4, I go up against a player who's playing Wakanda, under the M'Baku leadership. So I'm playing Doc Ock Spider Foes. We were playing Mutant Extremists and Mutant Madmen on uh, threat value of 19. That's senators. Mutant Extremists target senators. Uh, I go into this thinking that he was playing M'Baku, King T'Challa, that's 5 point Black Panther, and Namor, along with Okoye and Shuri. And so I'm playing Doc Ock, Green Goblin, Sandman, who was an absolute star in this game, Rhino, who also acquitted himself quite well, and Lizard. Uh, round 1 is normal. We all just run out and grab senators and flip points. I don't think anything happened. I don't even think attacks were made round 1. Round 2, Namor flies in, does an attack into, I think it was into Green Goblin, does some damage, and then attacks Rhino and does 3 damage, where it would normally be 2, but he gets past Rhino's ability to reduce damage. He then attacks Rhino with uh no, at that point he does Wakanda Forever to try and eliminate Rhino. Uh he attacks him with King T'Challa, with Shuri, and with Okoye. They all do 1 damage. So Rhino has 6 damage on him. So he is still alive after this swing of attacks coming at him. This is huge because Rhino then proceeds to uh, daze. Rhino's staggered at this point, but Rhino can do plenty while staggered. He shakes stagger. He attacks King T'Challa, does a lot of damage. He throws a size 4 terrain feature at Shuri. This dazes Shuri before she can activate this round. And he stampedes away, grabs a senator, and then is in a great position to do more shenanigans. I mean, it's an incredible Rhino turn. And it took most of his attacks and resources to do it, and he still survived. Like it was a case where the dice were in my favor enough that he failed to take out Rhino when he really needed to. I then, after that, I basically score most of the points in round two. I score more points than him in round three, and I slowly but surely crawl my way to a victory, 17-11, through just clawing every point that I possibly can, the way that spider foes are good at. This was a game that went exactly the way that spider foes like to play. I survive what they throw at me, and I score more points than you. All right, Brad, how did your fourth game go?
I played a guy named Matt, and he was local to the Akron area, and he was playing Winter Guard, which was cool to see. And we played Struggle for the Cube and Sword Base 18 Threat. He took Crimson Dynamo, Red Guardian, Beta Ray Bill, 2-point Black Widow, and 4-point Winter Soldier. I had Cyclops, Cable, Nightcrawler, couldn't think of his name, Psylocke. That has to be my team, but that feels like that's 1 point under. Did I play 17 points this game?
Did you play a point down?
I think I accidentally played a point down. I was getting tired.
Why are you doing this?
And that wasn't on purpose, Fred. That wasn't on purpose. That's weird. Okay. It looked like he was gonna split his forces pretty much an even. But as the first turn played out, he actually rotated several of his people to my left. And so I started doing that as well. So it ended up on my right, his Winter Soldier versus my Cable. And his Winter Soldier put like 3 damage on Cable. And then Cable also had a cube. So he took a turn over the next 2 turns, but we'll come back to Cable in a minute. He also moved his Black Widow to take one of my cubes on my side, and I got the middle one. And then I couldn't flip the sword base that she was standing next to. So he denied me 2 points on the first turn, which was pretty good start. Considering it was with a 2-point model. Like, that was good.
Yeah.
And so the second turn, he ends up charging Nightcrawler with Beta Ray Bill and makes 2 attacks on him and throws a building at him. And I have to use Xavier's Dream to keep him alive. But that's great because now Beta Ray Bill is right next to Psylocke. Uh, and that's like his first activation. So I go with Cable, and I teleport closer to Winter Soldier and attack him, throw a building at him, which he braces, and then attack him again to daze him. Then next turn, because he doesn't go with Winter Soldier first, I attack him, throw a truck at him, and that dazes him, and then I get to shoot Beta Ray Bill just for fun. On the third turn,
That KO'd him.
that did KO him. So,
Yeah.
he put Winter Soldier up against Cable, and he was never gonna win that fight.
Right. Yeah.
And then Psylocke on turn 2, he on turn he got Nightcrawler, who had 2 cubes at that point, and he dropped the 2 cubes, and then Crimson Dynamo left the point to go get the 2 cubes, the point that was his, which is a good play. Like, even if you lose that point, you are up a point overall. But then Psylocke moves short, dazes Beta Ray Bill, just does 5 straight up damage to him. And then, because I killed him on the first hit, I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to just move over here and get this sword base for free. And then the next turn, she KOs him. Because I'm very familiar with the Psylocke versus Beta Ray Bill fight. And she wins that fight. Like, 9 times out of 10.
Oh yeah.
So I end up killing his Winter Soldier, his Beta Ray Bill, and his Red Guardian, who didn't like do any damage the whole game. And I told him afterwards, I'm like, don't rely on Red Guardian ever doing damage, because he's probably not going to. But
I mean, that's not what he does though.
No,
he's there for the comrade's keeper.
And he's pretty hard to take down because he can count blanks. He has to pay for it, but he can count blanks. He's kind of hard to take down for his points, but he's never going to do damage. And then I managed to finally daze his 2-point Black Widow. This is literally 3 turns into the game, and I finally get her. And she's done a bunch of counterattacks too. It was rough. But I had the 3 bases. No, I had all 4 bases on turn 2. So I got to push his Crimson Dynamo out of the fight, which was nice. And then I got all 4 bases again on the third turn. So I scored, it was 3 the first turn, because I had 1 sword base and 2 cubes. That's all he let me get. And then I scored 6 points. And then I scored 8 points. So, Brandon, if you listen to this, I did you proud. I won 3 turns, scored a bunch of points. He got up to 9, and then that was the end of the game. And his biggest problem really was he just doesn't have the reps. MCP is not their main game. It's the game they play occasionally. So, also Winter Guard's probably not the best faction. So, we talked about we talked about it afterwards, and he seems really excited to try out Defenders with Daredevil, and I would really encourage him to do that because they're really good. He's super excited for all the new Defenders. He had Hulk in his list anyway. He had Namor in his list anyway. He didn't play him against me, but it just seems like he's gonna really enjoy that roster. So I wish him luck in that.
All right, and that is how we did in the tournament. I ended up in 9th place, and Brad ended up in 6th place, just by strength of schedule. Even though we both went 2-2.
I did play
the winner.
I did play the winner Gilbert and the 3rd place Les. So
yes, the winner was Gilbert. Second place. Oh gosh, I closed it. I closed it.
Second
Oh
place
no,
was Chance.
Kurt. Oh,
He,
okay. No,
I they kept calling him Chance, Fred.
Kirk.
So
Okay, the Chance. Sorry. Uh, Gilbert, Chance, and then Les got third place. Congratulations to all of the winners. And this was a ton of fun. I look forward to reattending in March. Let's move on. All
which will
right.
wait. The March event will be a BECC qualifier for those that care.
That is true. Look forward to that. All right, let's move on. We are. Do you want to just go straight into trivia? Let's go into trivia.
Okay. I can do trivia. I wrote some trivia. Unfortunately, Fred, this week you are on your own. Steven is not allowed to help you.
Wait, what? Hold on. That's not part of the deal.
If Brandon were here, he'd be allowed to help you, but Steven can't help you.
Is this because this is all stuff that Steven knows extremely well?
It may be because it was Steven's idea.
Oh no. Oh no.
So you are on your own. So what we'll do is you'll get 3 points if you get it right on the original. You'll get 2 points if you get the hint right, and you need 6 points to win.
How about can I make an adjustment?
Maybe.
How about I get 2 guesses after the hint? If I get it on the first
and you
guess,
can get
I
one
get
more
2,
point,
and then I can get 1.
and you
Yeah.
and you need 6 points to win.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Seems fair.
that seems fair. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay. Your first question, Fred, is there has been some contention about the origin of this character. Originally created to be a daredevil villain, the character was deemed too cool to be a one-off villain by the editor and was given his own book. The original writer of the series and the artist have both claimed responsibility for this character's distinctive look. The writer going so far as to unsuccessfully sue Marvel for merchandising rights in 2001. Marvel has settled with the writer for some unknown agreement when the original Marvel favoring verdict was overturned. There is no dispute that the character was invented by the writer other than that physical appearance, including name and personality. So the fight was over their appearance, not any other aspect of the character.
Have you done this one before?
No, absolutely not.
Okay. Okay. Is this Taskmaster?
Wait. What do you mean by have you done this one before?
Is this Taskmaster?
It is not Taskmaster.
Okay. Okay. What do I mean? Have you done this one before?
Like,
this sounds familiar.
Have I
That's what I'm
said
saying.
this trivia before? Absolutely not.
This sounds familiar, but I'm wrong. Okay.
All lawsuits sound familiar, Fred. They sound the same.
Also, since when is Taskmaster too cool to be some random bad guy and got his own series?
I don't know.
That is not Taskmaster's history. Okay, your hint.
Do you want to know what I was thinking? I was thinking that the gimmick of this one was ones that you've done previously, and that I would not know the answers to again, which I think would be like some insane, brilliant trivia.
You know what, Fred? Now that you've put that in my head, that may happen someday. So now you just got to be paranoid. Your hint for 2 points. In this character's solo series, the writer induced a long-haired, helpful character called the Friend. The writer intended this character to be Jesus Christ and for the main character to find religion through him. The editor didn't want to alienate readers by implying that Christianity was the one true religion in Marvel Universe, so he destroyed that comic that would reveal this and put together an issue that revealed the Friend to be a demon in disguise.
Is this Hood?
No. Guess again for 1 point,
Gosh
Fred.
darn it. Gosh darn it. Gosh darn it. Uh oh, I've got no clue. I'm thinking of a daredevil bad guy who has a cool, distinctive look. I don't even know
No,
who daredevil
Fred.
bad guys are.
The character was originally intended to be a Daredevil bad guy, but they nixed that idea to give him his own book.
Oh, well, okay. Uh, Originally a daredevil bad guy, but they nixed that idea to give him his own book. I don't know. I have no idea. Is it Shang-Chi?
No. Steven,
Okay.
for 0 points, do you know who this is?
It's the Ghost Rider.
It is Ghost
Oh,
Rider.
okay. Well, okay.
Ghost Rider has one of the most controversial starts to his origin, way,
Yeah.
way back in the 40s, and he's been contentious ever since.
Yeah. So both the artist and the writer claim that it was their idea to do like the flaming skull. Uh and Marvel has settled with the writer for some unknown amount or merchandising agreement or something. Um but that's not publicly known what the details are. Okay.
Okay, so Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider. You'll remember Ghost Rider. You won't remember this next one.
You're right.
This character once took over part of Las Vegas, gaining power from the people gambling there. During this time, this character met with several of Marvel's devils who were concerned about Magic being back, Magic with a K, the character,
hmm
being back and looking for her soul sword and the bloodstone amulet. This character also helps save the mutant Elixir, who is a healer, in exchange for the werewolf prince of Asgard joining this character.
Oh gosh, there's so much here that's like nothing I've ever heard of. Nothing I've ever heard of ever. So this character was went to Las Vegas and gained power from people gambling. Is that what you said?
Yes, from the people
This
who were
character
gambling there.
was gaining power from people who were gambling there. Gaining power from people who were gambling there. They and the devils of the Marvel universe all came together and tried to have this person take Magic's sword.
Now,
Is that
Magic
correct?
was looking for her sword, her
Okay.
own sword, her old sword, and
Mm-hmm.
the bloodstone amulet. And they met with this person to help prevent that. To get their help in preventing Magic from finding these things.
Is it Mr. Sinister?
It is not Mr. Sinister.
Okay.
Your
I thought with
hint.
the card, like he has like a diamond and a heart and a spade and a club kind of theme thing going on. I don't know.
Okay, your hint. Though this character is quite the swords person, armed with their sword, Night Sword, this character's
Oh God.
most powerful ability is the Hand of Glory. This is a punch so powerful it's said to fell even an Asgardian with one punch. This character also exhibits all the normal traits of the race they are often associated with, even though this character is actually of a different race of beings.
Hmm. Is it Malekith?
That is incorrect. For one
Oh
point,
my
would you like to
gosh.
guess again?
Oh gosh. Oh no. um Hand of Glory. This guy's Oh no, I have no idea. The
Uh,
Hand of
you
Glory
you
is
said guy, but there's specifically no gender in anything I wrote.
okay.
I'm just
Okay.
pointing that out that it was gender
Is
neutral.
it Hela? Is it Hela?
It is Hella for 1 point,
Okay.
Fred.
All right. All right.
That was
The
Hella.
because yeah, she does not have an attack called Hand of Glory. I feel like
D-
that is a missed opportunity.
but does she have? Is her? Does she have Night Sword somewhere on her card? I feel like she
I
does.
don't see she
I
has
don't,
Hellforged Blade on her card.
Oh, so they
It's not
didn't
Night
call it
Sword.
by name. Okay,
Yeah.
that's sad. So you have 1 point so far, Fred, and
Hey.
it turns out Hela, not Asgardian in the comics, did not know that, even though she has all of the normal Asgardian stuff. Um,
Well, I'll tell you what. I don't know that, and I would have never known that.
I know
I
I
would have
didn't
thought she was
either.
the sister of Thor,
Well,
because
she's
that's what it
not
was in the
that.
one movie.
But she's what did they say she was? I
an
don't even
Azir? Did they
remember.
say she was an Azir or something like that?
No. No, they said it was maybe she was Jotun, like she was a giant. I don't
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
remember. Well, I know that's what Loki is, so I might be mixing that up. But it was one of the other like planar races. Like
Okay.
she's not an Asgardian. I thought she was an Asgardian. I thought Loki was the only one that wasn't. It was so confusing. I was like, I did not know this. Fred's definitely not going to know this. All right, Fred, for 3 points. Traveling to the Savage Land, an uncharacteristically warm valley in Antarctica where the dinosaurs still roam. This character helped to teleport some dinosaurs to Genosha to prank its leader, Magneto. The dinosaurs ended up being sent to the Genosian embassy in New York City instead and get infected with symbiotes. This character was able to stop the dinosaurs live on TV, making their worldwide heroic debut.
Oh gosh. Okay, so they're it's just a prank that they're trying to pull on Magneto? They're trying to
Yes.
prank Magneto,
Yes.
whomever
Uh,
this is.
Fred, have you ever heard of the Savage Land before I just told you what it was?
I have. They
Okay.
mention it once in one of the comic books that and it's I know it's dinosaur-y. And
Yeah.
didn't Rogue and Magneto go there together?
Yeah,
Hey, is it
that's
Rogue? Is it Rogue?
it is that your answer?
That's my answer.
It is not Rogue. Yeah,
Okay.
that's where Magneto ate her box. If you
Yeah, that's
remember
where
that
he ate her
episode.
box. I remember that.
They have a reprint of that issue on the shelf at the comic store. I showed Jared it last time he was there. You could go buy that issue, Fred.
Okay.
Your hint, 2 points. This character once joined a well-known Marvel organization to have a steady job and dental insurance. This character was disappointed to find out that they would not be getting full coverage in the organization like the members of a rival organization got.
Is okay. This isn't my answer, but it isn't like Bob Agent of Hydra in Hydra because of the medical insurance. Because it's like good medical insurance.
I'm not going to
Uh
answer your question, Fred,
is
because
it Bob Agent of Hydra?
it is.
Hey,
You got
I,
three.
I remember that.
You got 3 points, Fred.
Out of
Uh,
the needed six.
out of the
I
needed
did so
6.
well.
So your bonus question worth 3 points. What do these characters have in common?
Okay. Okay. So we've got Ghost Rider, Hela, and Bob Agent of Hydra. I got them all. I remember them all. Uh hold on. Is this like how does Hela work? Is this like a gameplay thing where you if Ghost Rider dies, he um deal with the devils into uh Bob, and then Hela gets a soul token? Hold on. I don't even know if that's how Hela works. I've not ever played Hela. So I don't know. It's oh gosh. Does Hela have the ability to kill someone? Choosing just I don't want to read through her entire card. Her card is kind of a book. It These are all models in I've got no idea. I've got nothing. I don't know. What is it? What is the answer? I surrender.
They all can survive a KO.
They all can survive a KO. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if
That's what it
if
is.
Hela has 3 soul tokens when she's KO'd, she can sacrifice them and heal back to full health on her injured side.
That's pretty good.
And then Bob dazes instead of KOs and survives.
Right.
And then, of course, there's Deal with the Devil.
Yes.
And there used to be a 4th model, but you can't do that anymore. Well, a 4th character.
Was that Ultron?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. You failed this week, Fred.
Yeah, I
But you
failed.
also had
Oh well.
no help.
I was by myself. I'm surprised I got any points.
Yeah, I came up with that theme because those characters are so divergent and disparate compared to
They
each
don't
other.
seem like they go together at all.
Yeah, but they do have one through line.
Uh-huh. All right, well,
I'm,
I guess
I'm sorry to do that to you, Fred.
no, it's all right. When Brad said that this was a themed one, my first thought was that it was ones that he had literally done before.
Oh, shit.
You'll
Now
get that. You'll get that sometime, Fred. I promise.
Oh no. I will whiff it all. Okay, well, let's move on. Let's go on to the person that we are here to cover today, and that person is Viper, otherwise known as Ophelia Sarkeesian. Uh her defense she is a 5 threat. Oh boy, this is backwards because it's an old
no.
card. It's an old card. All right, her defenses are 3, 3, and 3. She is a 5 threat model, a
No, she's
long
not.
mover.
No, she's not.
She is a 3 threat model. Oh my goodness. Hold on. I'm all scatterbrained. I'm also very tired. She is a 3 threat model. She has 5 stamina. That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
5 stamina on both sides of her card. She is a long mover and she is a size 2. And again, she is a 3 threat model, not a 5 threat model. I'm stupid. Brad, why don't you do her attacks?
Okay, she has 3 physical attacks. The first one is Poison Blade, range 2, 5 dice, gain power equal damage dealt, Wild Poison. Her second one is Assassin's Pistol, range 3, 4 dice, also costs 0. Gain 1 power, Wild Stun. And her last attack is Viper Strike, range 3, 6 dice, cost 3. After the attack is resolved, place this character within range 1 of the target. Wild Venom. After the attack is resolved, this target gains the slow and stun special conditions.
Hey, Steven, why don't you just finish off the card?
Sure. We have an active superpower called Displacement Ring. It will cost you 2. Place the character within 2 of its current position. The superpower can be used only once per turn. And then we have a reactive superpower, Coiled Serpent. It will also cost you 2 power. When this character is targeted by an attack within 2, it may use the superpower. Instead of rolling dice equal to its defense, it rolls 5 dice. Then, if this character suffers no damage from the attack, after the attack is resolved, the attacker suffers 2 damage. And as an innate, she has stealth. So characters must be within range 3 of this character to target it with attacks.
Okay. Steven, why don't Brad and I seem to have been talking quite a bit this episode. Why don't you give me your take here on Viper? You also play Hydra, which is where she is probably going to play.
Well, maybe not even there.
Maybe not even there.
Okay. So, basically, a character like this, if I'm looking at it, you take it because it's a long mover and it has stealth. So it's an objective runner, technically, right?
It's
Well-
like the second. It's the worst objective runner.
Well, that's what I was going to get at because for three threats who are long movers, you have Baron Zemo, Black Cat, Sam Wilson, Crystal, Ghost Spider, Mystique, Proxima Midnight, Quicksilver, Shadowcat, and Viper.
Oh my
And
goodness.
I didn't include Wasp Tiny Form in this because she can't get objectives, obviously.
Right.
So, but if you wanted to get that down even further and say, well, I want my long mover who's three threat to have stealth, you then go down to Black Cat, Mystique, Shadowcat, and Viper. And as you can see, those three are even still better than Viper.
I
Then
know.
you can say, I want to go down to stealth and action economy on my three threat. And then you just take out Mystique and you still have Black Cat and Shadowcat over Viper. And then you can say, well, maybe I want a range 3 gainer on my stealth long mover. And you have Mystique, Shadowcat, and Viper, which Shadowcat and Mystique are still better. And you say, wait. But I want a range 3 gainer. I want stealth and action economy. And you're like, well, there's Shadowcat and Viper, and Shadowcat is just leagues better than Viper.
Yeah. That was
And
devastating for this character. What you just did.
I mean, her toolkit's not bad. It's just not as good as the other ones in her category.
No, you're absolutely correct. I think that this character suffers from being an early model. This is an early model. And
No, I would correct you. She does not suffer from being an early model because Baron Zemo, three threat, was an early model.
yeah, true. He was probably before this
Yeah,
model.
but she's in a very different category than him. I don't think it would take much to push her up into being played in her faction a lot.
Like if she got a good tactics card that was worth taking.
That might be enough, or just like a couple number tweaks might be enough. Because I feel like
Yeah.
she's just on that threshold of being played in her affiliations. Like you make that comparison to Shadowcat because they share a lot in common, but
Mhm.
Shadowcat and Viper are in completely different affiliations. They have no overlap whatsoever. So if you're not
Right.
talking about splashes, if you want that in faction, like Viper's pretty close. Like
We should say what her affiliations are. They are Hydra and Cabal.
yeah.
That's it.
Which unfortunately Baron Zemo three threat is in too.
Is but
Yeah.
if you're wanting to go wide, you might be playing them both, maybe. Like I think her like superpower suite is really good, and her attacks are fine.
I think that assassin pistol needs to go up to at least a rapid fire.
Or be range 4.
No, just a rapid fire.
Rapid
just like
fire
Mystic's.
would be really good. That'd be
because
like that. That's the type of tweak I'm talking about. Like that might be enough right there. If she just had
Yeah.
rapid fire, range 3 gainer that gives out stun, like that's probably enough that you play her in her factions. And that's really, we've got so many characters now. That's where you want to be. You want to be playable in your factions. If you're splashed everywhere, you're too good.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're played in your factions consistently, you're at the right level.
I think to Steven's point, this character is just under the played in her faction level.
Yeah,
Like she's
and
not functional. She's not unfunctional. I mean, she everything on here works, and as a model on the table, she probably does what she's supposed to do. It's just she's not quite as good as other models in her point range and in her category.
Yeah, three threat long movers. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This model also comes in a box with one of the worst models in the game.
she
Sin.
sure does.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, talk about models that need a little fix.
Yeah.
Man, I thought I had built all of my MCP models. Like I set out to do that. But I'm just now realizing I didn't, when I sat down to do that, I did not put together a Sin. Uh,
I mean,
so she might be
you're not missing much.
literally the only model I own that I have not put together, and I don't know where she is. Because
I wouldn't
Viper,
lose much sleep over it.
I put Viper together. Yeah, but that means Sin's gonna get a buff, and then she's gonna be really good, right?
Sure, sure. I think Sin, like, I'm surprised she didn't get an errata the last round of erratas. We're talking about a character that we're not talking about today. Sorry.
Uh,
Let's
I like
let's
Viper. I think she's got a lot of potential, and it just a little tweak's gonna get her there. I think.
Yeah, I think Viper Strike is a pretty good spender. I wish that maybe if instead of a wild venom, it were a hit venom. That because
That would
stun and
help.
slow, yeah, stun and slow are not are good effects, but they're not like stagger. And having this be a 6 dice attack, range 3 for 3 power, that on a hit trigger gives a model slow and stun. That might be worth taking this model.
Yeah, well, the disparity for that, Fred, is that you place yourself within one of the target character, um, and then you have to have 5 power on this character to do coiled serpent when they attack back. That's the
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah, that's a little bit of scornergy there. You're correct.
That's why I'm saying Assassin's Pistol. If it went to a rapid fire, it'd be a lot different.
Yeah.
Be a
Then she
lot.
could at least get 4 power.
Mhm.
Not quite guaranteed, but almost guaranteed.
Yeah, it gets you to that level. So if you take a little chip damage here or there, right? So
Yeah. Okay.
I would also say I'm kind of disappointed that she's not immune to poison, being Viper herself.
Yeah, she should be immune to poison.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Oh,
that
to,
what I said early on is correct. This model suffers from being an early model because I feel like these are all things that they would have figured out now. Like
That's
if they made this model now,
that,
she would be she would have some different things that would make her worth taking a little bit more.
which is one of the reasons why I'm pointing out that it wouldn't take much. Is because she's ripe for the next update. Like
Yeah,
she seems like a model that they probably will change next time.
I agree. I agree. All right. Well, are there any I don't think there's a single tactics card associated with Viper.
not at nope, not at all.
Nope. Uh, she doesn't. She doesn't even really see play in her affiliations of Cabal or Hydra. She might like be a deep roster inclusion in a Baron Strucker Hydra list. Like she might be deep in that roster and that you
Mm.
pull out every once in a while, but I almost feel like she doesn't even make the roster.
Well, I mean, if you're for a while there, she did have a little blip of a resurgence because you could run 4 point Baron Zemo and take that extra card, and you could, with his power, she was the target for Eyes on the Prize because she would get refunded a power. She would get to move long, interact with something within 2, grab something, and come back.
Okay. Interesting.
But since Eyes on the Prize
But Eyes in the
figured
Price is
that
gone.
out,
Yep.
yeah. So she suffers from the fact that because somebody was too good with that card that she doesn't have a play anymore.
Yeah. She's collateral damage from the correction to Beta Ray Bill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
They should have just banned Beta Rare Bill.
They said they were never going to ban a character.
Yeah, yeah,
All right. Well, I think we're kind of done talking about her. Uh, did we talk about Coiled Serpent? Do we
Yep,
think that
yeah.
Coiled Serpent?
I love it.
Okay.
because it's
I
the
mean,
same thing that Cyclops has, right?
Well,
Technically.
and
it's it's
what's her face?
no, it's the
Gamora.
opposite. It's martial prowess.
Oh, okay.
The
Yeah, Gamora's
Cyclops
thing.
is outside of 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Uh I love those abilities. I like them a lot. So, big fan.
All right. Well, we need to give Viper a letter grade. I'm going to start us off here. I think so. I have said that Viper gets underplayed in the past. I don't know if I'm right in that statement. I think that she kind of gets played enough for what she is. She's just kind of underwhelming. She's not bad. There's nothing terrible here, and there's some good here. I just think that she's overshadowed by the rest of the game right now. It currently stands, she will have a lot of trouble seeing play in any affiliation, and that's just not a good place to be. I am going to give her a C, and I'm leaning towards a C minus. I'm going to give her a C. I'm going to give her a straight C. That is where I am. Brad, what are your thoughts here on Viper?
I think she actually is underplayed. That she should see a little more play than she is, even at her current level. And so I think that makes her a C.
Okay. All right. And Steven, what are your thoughts here?
I'm going to agree with you, Fred, at a C minus.
Yeah.
But there's one interesting thing about her that not a lot of people have discovered, and I have accidentally. Do you know who she counters really, really well?
Who's that?
Black Cat.
Really? Talk me through this. What are your thoughts? What do you mean?
Well, if Black Cat's trying to get into a fight with her, okay, and she strikes at her, she can do her coiled serpent and do incidental damage to her. She moves the same amount. She has a displacement ring, and she has that gainer. I mean, and plus her Viper Strike will put her right next to her. Black Cat's not the offensive, juggernaut, right?
Right.
So,
I
I
can
feel
see
like,
this.
yeah, this could
so
be a
what?
Black Cat chaser. This is Black
Yeah,
Cat chaser.
yeah. She's uh, she's not a hard counter to Black Cat, but she does better than most models against Black Cat.
That's true.
Because if Black Cat does her little four dive strike and she doesn't get through that coiled super doing 2 damage, that's 40% of her health pool.
I don't think Black Cat wants to attack Viper. I guess she might if she needs the power. She might
But
if she needs the power.
but with that assassin's pistol, she can run her down.
Yeah.
So another reason I think rapid fire would be good on her. But she's not worried about modifying dice because she's probably off on her own trying to wrangle the cat, right? And then if Viper has something on her and Cat wants to steal it, Cat's already taken an action, so she's kind of SOL.
Okay. All right. Well, that's our
That,
take there on
that's
Viper.
yeah, that's my personal experience with Viper. That she's a very good black cat. Um, Not a counter, but
Probably right.
a
That like
contend
she's a good model to throw into Black Cat.
because you don't want to waste Baron Zemo going into black cat because he can't do his rerolls or anything, right?
Right.
Viper's just as effective, and you can have Zemo go off do something else.
Okay then. All right. Well, uh that's Viper, everybody. That's our take. It's pretty middling, but I think there's potential there. Uh let's move on to comic book recommendations. Hey Brad, do you have any comic books that feature Viper?
I do, and I mostly picked ones I've read because she's in a lot of comics I haven't read. The first one I have not read, so it's Captain America 110 through 113 from 1968. This is by Jim Steranko, who did the art and writing on this. And this is her first appearance, but she's called Madam Hydra. Uh, and throughout these 4 issues, she battles Captain America multiple times, and she kidnaps Rick Jones to draw Steve into a trap. And at this point, Rick Jones is Cap's sidekick, and he calls him Bucky, and that's really weird, right?
Uh
That he
Weird.
that he calls his new sidekick, his old sidekick's name who died.
Yeah, that's really
When
weird.
it's his name, not like his nickname. So like Batman calling the new Robin Robin after the old Robin died, which is a thing that happened in Batman comics. Like that's a code name. That's not that weird. But calling your new child friend your old child friend's name, that's weird, right?
Yeah.
That's like really weird. Anyway, they fight a whole bunch in this comic. Her and Captain America. That's what happens.
Okay.
It's a 60s comic. Usually a bunch of fighting, and sometimes it's light on plot. Next thing I'm going to recommend is Wolverine issue 125 from 1998. And this is written by Chris Claremont and art by Lionel Francis Yu. And Wolverine gets married. And I bet you can't guess who he marries. It's a comic you're going to have to read to believe.
Have you told me about this story before? I
Uh,
vaguely remember this.
Maybe. What do you remember of it?
Okay. Well, I don't want to spoil the comic.
You can spoil the comic, Fred. This is mostly like to tease you,
Sick.
not the listeners.
Okay. Is it does he marry Viper?
He does. She tricks him into
Yeah.
marrying her.
Yeah.
And demands that he consummate the marriage.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember that too.
It's revealed in a different comic that she really did love him. So it's weird. Anyway. The last comic I have for today is Hunt for Wolverine. I forgot to put the subtitle of this one. It's Mystery in Madripoor. And this is 2018. Jim Zub and I'm assuming this is pronounced Tony Silas, but it starts with a TH. So it's kind of like Thom Yorke. That's pronounced Tom. So
Okay.
Wolverine may be back from the dead, but no one can find him. So Kitty Pryde, Storm, Psylocke, Jubilee, and Rogue searched one place where Wolverine liked to disappear to, where he went off to like go on solo adventures, and that's Madripoor. So, Fred, do you know what Madripoor is?
Is it in India?
No. So it
No.
is a city on an island called Madripoor. It's fictional,
Okay.
made up for the Marvel Universe, and it's kind of their stand-in for all of
Bangkok.
yeah, but really any of those like Southeast Asian areas.
Okay. Like-
And it's a little bit racist, but you know, it's fictional.
Uh-huh.
And anything is possible if you have money.
Yeah. And there's
Very
there's
Bangkok.
there's two sections of the city. There's Low Town and High Town, and Low Town is like poor squalor right next to High Town, which is like these skyscrapers and the ultra rich and stuff. Anyway, Wolverine had a bunch of adventures there in his alternate identity as Patch, which is a guy who wears a white suit and a patch and is clearly Wolverine, and everyone realizes this and pretends they don't realize it. Which is fun comic stuff. And then, unfortunately, when they go here to look for Wolverine, they fall afoul of some femme fatales, including Viper. And I was really proud of that line. So I wanted to make sure I read it right.
Fall afoul of femme fatales.
Yeah. And Fred, this is very relevant to what we were talking about yesterday, because this is where they fix the whole Betsy Cannon thing with the Psylocks.
Oh, okay.
This is the comic that does it. This
Okay.
5-issue series. So That's
All
it.
right.
Those are my
Well,
Viper
thank you, Brad.
comics.
Thank you for your comic book recommendations. Hey, Steven, I've got a rough one for you today. Where do you
Sure.
think you want to splash Viper? Where she would
Um,
affect better?
I think Shadowlands Daredevil is a good call.
Shadowlands
That's
Daredevil.
an interesting one.
You can get some rerolls. Yeah.
Correct. And you're interested in people running people down. She can do that. Um, Also, she can play the objective game with him. So, I mean,
Mhm.
you're already going to be running probably a black cat in there, right? So why not double down?
Okay. Yeah, ¿Por qué no los dos?
Mm-hmm. So ninjas, with Daredevil, Black Cat, and Viper. That's a starting 10 right there.
That's pretty solid.
So I'm not
All
saying
right.
she's solid. I'm just saying she could probably fit there.
Right. Still the same problem as before. Just
Yeah.
yeah. All right. Well, the only thing that's left is my non sequitur recommendation, and I am back on my Korean competition reality show bullcrap. So there's
Oh,
a show. There's a show on Netflix currently called The Influencer, and it's not what I thought it was going to be. It is a show about Korean influencers and how they can compete against each other in the many ways in which one can be an influencer. And this show is very, very good. It's watching all of these charismatic, funny, and very attractive people competing in all the ways that they can that people can compete online, and it is a lot of fun. It's more fun than I'm making it sound. Highly, highly recommend. Uh, and that is it. That's all. That's it for today. Thank you both for joining me, and thank you for talking about Viper, and thank you for waking up, Brad, to participate in this dumb podcast
I
that we
made
do.
it.
And yeah, thank you everyone out there for listening. Goodbye, and have a wonderful rest of the week.